Good damn morning, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. And you guys, I'm happy to be alive. I made it. I was in a bad situation yesterday, but I'm here to tell you I'm alive and well. And I didn't think I would be, because yesterday I was hanging out with police officers. That's right, you guys, a very dangerous thing to do when you look like me, especially in 2019, with a target painted on my back for being black. But maybe I caught these guys in a good mood, or I don't know what, but nothing happened to me. And I was with them for, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half, a little under 2 hours. Day before yesterday, I was somewhere and I saw this little sign and it said, "Coffee with a cop from 4 to 6 at a Starbucks on the east side." So it said no speeches or agendas, just voicing concerns and asking questions with the police officers. So I was like, you know what? That's a good idea. I'll do that. I had some time to kill. So I go there, and there's a little Girl Scout troop there when I showed up, and there's probably 8 police officers. And so I see some of them standing around, and I ask them, I said, now I read the sign that I saw the other day, and it said, no speeches or nothing like that. I said, but it said we can ask questions and talk to the officers or voice concerns. So I said, I have a concern. And they said, what? I said, the homeless. And they kind of laugh like, oh, yeah, we know. And I just wanted them, I said, are you guys as aware of the problem with the homeless as we want you to be? He said, yeah, we're totally aware. He said, it's a problem. I wish we could do more about it, but it's not a crime to be homeless, and we're getting little to no support from the governor, straight up. So all these pro-homeless programs, like indoor shooting galleries, like free needles, like allowing them to shit and piss in the streets. He said, we're not getting a lot of support, and if people don't call and report things, there's nothing we can do. He said there are programs and there is help available. But he said most of them don't want it. Most of them want to be homeless. They want to be on drugs. They want to live on the streets. And I told him, like I mentioned in my video a few days ago, I told him about those junior high kids who are walking to school, and walking toward them was this crazy fucking homeless dude having a high volume conversation with nobody behind him. And he said in situations like that, he said, call us. You don't have to give your name or anything. He said, call us. Those kids should not be afraid. No one should be afraid of someone else walking down the street. And that was good to hear. That was good to know. It was good to know that they're aware and they care as much as we do. And I was talking to him. I told him about my channel and how, you guys get a bad rep, and I know most of you are doing the best you can. Not everybody has the balls to run toward the danger. Nobody ever calls them and says, hey, 911, everything's great. If you want to send the cops over, I just made some cookies, maybe a little milk. No, that never happens. It's, he has a knife, she's trying to kill me, my baby's not breathing. That kind of shit. When I was there, standing there talking to him, they actually got a call of a pedestrian hit by a car, major injuries, and they had the 2 suspects in custody. And that one of the cops standing there asked the other cop, how old are the suspects? He goes, what are they, kids? And the cop says, yeah, 17 years old. So and he said it was a DUI involved. So these 2 kids are drunk, driving around, hit some pedestrian on the street, and now that pedestrian has major injuries. And they have to go to this call. They have to go see this person's mangled body, compound fractures, head injuries, who knows? And they have to arrest these kids, these 17-year-old punks. They got another call when I was standing there talking to him. A combative 8-year-old who's bipolar and schizophrenic and had bit his mother multiple times earlier that day, and there is a history of domestic violence. He said extreme domestic violence. So this kid's been watching violence his whole life, coupled with his mental issues. And guess who has to show up on the scene to throw down with an 8-year-old? And then one of the cops says he will fight. So how do you take down and restrain an 8-year-old? You can't handle him the same way you handle an 18-year-old. And that was just in the hour and a half that I was talking to. Who knows how many other calls? You know, they're constantly turning their radios up and down and shit, speaking in code. But it was good to talk to those officers. And not once did they pull their guns on me. They didn't try to kill me. They didn't try to tase me. They didn't cuff me. They didn't throw me on the ground. They didn't plant any evidence on me. None of that. All these dangers I keep being told about, none of it happened. And I was around like 8 of them. They all had guns. Nothing happened. And then when I got there, I was walking over to where the cops were to talk to them, and there's a T-Mobile store next door. And one of the T-Mobile employees is walking over there because they had coffee and shit outside for people to drink and everything, you know, stickers and shit for the kids. So this dude walks by me, and he goes, "Oh man, it's usually not fun seeing this many cops." I'm like, what the fuck is that supposed to be? I just looked at him, and he's like, "Oh man, my bad." Yeah, you're bad, you fucking idiot. You're the kind of dummies who perpetuate this shit. Most cops are good. Most of every kind of employee are good. You ever had bad service at a restaurant? You ever had bad food? Someone ever do a bad cleaning job? You ever had a bad doctor? There's bad in everything. Now, granted, none of those professions have guns and the ability to kill your ass or electrocute you, but it's still the same. There's bad in every group. Cops are no different. Most of them are good. And one of the cops, one of the sergeants, we were standing there talking. Guess what we were talking about for, I'd say, a half hour to 45 minutes? Our kids. We were talking about our kids and how important they are and how important it is to be the best parent you can. I asked the cops about concealed carry. How do you feel about citizens having concealed carry permits? And he said, as long as you take all the steps and you train and you practice and practice and practice and train and become familiar with that weapon to where drawing it and handling it is second nature, he said, go right ahead. He said, just be careful. If you have to shoot somebody, make sure it's justified. Make sure you know what the fuck you're doing. And I wasn't shocked by anything that they said. It's not like, oh shit, you guys are human. But it was nice to talk to them and see that human side of them and let them know you guys do have support out here. No, the bad cops, they're pieces of shit. They're abusing their authority and they can and will be dealt with. As they should be. Like that cop who, there was footage of him shooting that black dude in the back as he ran away and planted a gun on him. That cop got sentenced. He got convicted of second-degree murder. So they don't get away scot-free. The lady who shot that guy who thought it was her apartment, he was an intruder, she just got 10 years. Whether or not it's fair is another subject for another day. But she was convicted and she was sentenced. Both sides of it need to come out, not just bad cops. I know these instances where people are getting shot, other than the one I just mentioned, the two I just mentioned, I don't know of another one where the cop wasn't justified. Just because the perpetrator is black or young and black does not make them being killed not justified. You reach for something, you got a gun. And there's a video of these Chicago police officers wrestling with this fucking Thundercat on the hood of their car. And there's a still pic of a gun. He rolls, his shirt comes up. You can see a gun sticking out that he was reaching for. What did the cops do? They popped his ass. What'd they say? It's racist. How the fuck is that? You think if he's white, his ass wouldn't have got shot too? Twice as many white people get shot as black people every fucking year. Tell me the name of a white person that was killed by the police. I'll wait. Cue the Jeopardy music. Exactly. Nothing. That's the bullshit we get. And as usual, the bullshit we're told is not how it really is. There's good cops out there I thank those good police officers. I'm not going to get that homeless dude. I'm not going to take that machete away from him. Now, if he comes towards me and I have the means to protect myself, hell yeah, I will. But they do a special job. And I was also telling them, I said, and you know, like some other jobs, you guys are held to a higher standard. And they said, we know that. And we accept that and we appreciate that responsibility. It was really good to talk to them, to let them know because, I mean, the town I live in, the crime and shit, they're aware of that. But I wanted to make sure they were aware of the homeless situation. Because sometimes it's a trip. Walking down the street, these fools are yelling and shit, sleeping on the sidewalk. My kids ask me, what's wrong with them, Daddy? All that type of shit. Neither one of us should have to deal with that. Those of us who aren't homeless, going about our lives, and those who are, they shouldn't be living on the streets. But if they don't want to better themselves and they don't want to take part in these programs, what do? Do we change the vagrancy laws? I don't know. But you can't be sleeping in front of my business every morning. I shouldn't have to step over you. I shouldn't have to step into the street, which is unsafe, to go around all your worldly possessions. You shouldn't be allowed to walk around yelling crazy shit. Something's got to be done. California has the means to do it. They need to. They need to back their officers. He's telling me about officers. He knows a couple officers who are leaving because of the lack of support they're getting from our governor, from the government in California. They're like, fuck it, I'm going to Arizona, where they care about law enforcement, where they don't put the needs of and so-called rights. They shouldn't even have rights. But illegals, tying one hand behind their back and expecting them to do the same job. That's fucked up. But like I said, people, I'm glad to be alive. I thought for sure I'm going to go meet my death. All these police officers, they can't help it. It's been ingrained in them to shoot people that look like me. But like I said, they did it. I'm good. I don't know if maybe they're planning to get me later. But when I was there, nothing happened. Stop the bullshit. Now let me wrap up my state-mandated meal period. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe, hit that notification bell, utilize the PayPal link and the Teespring link to get your green gear. Oh, and wait up. Make sure when you hit that notification bell, as we all know, when it rings, a piece of shit liberal cries. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.